Are you trying to figure out why your marketing is not working? Or why are you getting leads that aren't no good? In today's episode, we are talking about simple ways to improve your marketing, bring in better leads, and grow your business better without being complicated. Hey, I'm Shay Toya. I've spent more than 10 years in construction, working behind the scenes in marketing, hiring, and I've seen how overwhelming it can be to grow a business. That's how we've learned to build a sustainable business using clear systems, strong communication, and intentional recruiting. If you're ready for better hiring, smarter remarketing, and a business that doesn't fall apart when you step away, welcome to Building Better Contractor Businesses. And if you want real conversations, be sure to join our Facebook group. This provides you opportunities to ask questions, get support. Our Facebook group is called Building Better Contractor Businesses. Join us. Let's get into this episode. So today I get the opportunity to speak with Thaddeus Tondo on Purpose Media, who has a marketing agency that only works with service companies. Can you just share with us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so on Purpose Media, we are a digital marketing company. So we do websites, SEO, Google Ads for home services and contractors at large for it. And those are the three things that we do. And it's focusing specifically on the digital marketing side of the business.
Got it. And digital marketing can go very many different directions. You did mention ads. Is there something particular that you like to focus on?
We focus mainly on the Google Ads, the PPC or pay-per-click. There's a lot that can happen online. And we just want to make sure that when we do the online stuff, we focus on things that are the lower hanging fruit, if that makes sense. And so it can make us look good, but no, the reality is when you look at a business and you look at online marketing, well, there's tons of things that you can do. I bucket people down into kind of different groups. So you have like 3% of a person's target market at any given time knows they have a problem. They're information gathering a solution. They want to get it fixed right then and there. And so they are acutely aware of what's going on, and they're going to turn to Google or they're going to turn to AI and they're going to search for it. Those people are ready to buy. Another 17% of a person's target market at any point in time knows they have a problem. They're information gathering a solution. So now they're looking for information to be able to fix their problem. Another 20% know they have a problem. They don't care about a solution. And the last 60% don't know they have a problem, don't know that they have a solution. And so when you want to market online, you can market to all of those different groups of people. We chose as a company to focus on that 3 and that 17%. Because the likelihood of them purchasing is a lot higher.
Got it. No, that totally makes sense. But what are some of the things that you guys might do to just get someone started when they possibly never actually worked with an agency like yours?
Never worked with an agency or just never worked with anybody, like don't even have a website?
Maybe they have a website, but maybe it's just awful.
Sure. So the first step is to do an audit to find out, okay, does the website actually suck? Is it awful? Does it need to be redone or not? And that's generally where we want to start. I get it. Some people have this distaste for marketing companies and digital marketing specifically, and maybe that's another conversation or another question later. But when you think about this, looking at online, well, the first thing is people will say, and I read somebody's like 20 things that you need to be doing for your company, and like 5th or 6th was the website. I actually think almost number 1 is a website, and it doesn't have to be this robust a 100-page website. No, but it needs to have your core services and it needs to look professional. Why? Because if you get a referral, if you are big on referral business, well, your referrals are still going to look at your business. They're still going to look you up online. They're going to look at your website and they're going to judge. Sure, the referral has a lot of weight, but they're also going to look at the website when it's on there. Anybody is generally finding, shouldn't say anybody. Most people are still landing on the website to see if you're a legitimate business or not. So it's number 1. So that's where a person needs to start. From there, it kind of depends on where they're at in their arc of their business journey and what they have to spend on marketing. But I always think that a website is the starting foundational pillar for everything.
Got it. No, and I agree. Especially being a service-based business, most of us do get referrals. So that's great. And so you said websites. So let's just say it's really what's in someone's, maybe they feel like they can't afford ads, but they can afford their website. So would you say that should be their first foundation?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the thing, and not everybody's ready to have paid traffic come for their business. Again, depending on the size of the business, some people don't need to spend money on paid ads. You think about some markets and some contracting businesses, if you're going to go to Google and you're going to spend on Google pay-per-click ads, well, one click can cost you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 in some areas, in some contracting businesses. So if you spend $100 for a click, 1 out of every 3, 1 out of every 4 people that click call you, and 1 out of 2 book. So you, on the high side, that's $400 for a phone call, $800 for a job. Now, depending on the business, sure, some businesses are smaller contract jobs. Some are big contract jobs. They'll spend $800 all day long, but some don't want to spend that money, depending on the size of where they're at.
Got it. And while you're speaking to contractors, what are you hearing are their biggest frustration?
Transparency, for one. They don't know what their marketing agency is even doing for them. What's happening on the back end, what's going on in here. There's just no conversation that they can have easily with their marketing company, and their marketing company hides behind big words that confuse people when it comes to digital marketing. Most contractors don't speak digital marketing. And so an agency shouldn't get lost in the technical jargon and should be able to break that down into simplistic terms.
Got it. No, I get it. We've worked with many agencies, so I totally understand that. And then just kind of reading what you've done in the past, I know one of the things that you started off with was selling Cutco knives. How did that make you get into marketing?
I don't think Cutco really necessarily got me into marketing specifically. I mean, I guess it kind of did, because when I first had my first marketing job in 2014 was print advertising and print marketing. And I got headhunted into that role because hello. So you muted yourself, your phone, but not the office line. But when I got into Cutco, my first print job, I got headhunted into the role, and because I sold Cutco knives. I think the biggest part of what it's been able to do for me is being able to just pick up the phone and call anybody or have a conversation with anybody to be able to sell my services, but also the leadership skills that I learned from it, because we've got a team of 12, I've got 12 team members, 12 employees. And so I know how to lead them because of Cutco and what I was able to learn as a manager there.
Yeah, no, I feel like different things in life, prepare us for where we're heading. So I think that's great. When it comes to marketing, what would you say, where do most contractors struggle at?
I think they want to, there's a few things. I see it a lot in some of the Facebook groups that I'm in, where they ask for groupthink on what works for that one person for their marketing. And then they get all of this random information of confliction of this and this worked, but this didn't. And they just get overwhelmed for it. And that's one thing. And so groupthink is a tough one. The other one is trying to do everything instead of focusing on a few things and getting really good at it and going too wide. And then the third thing that I see is starting something, but stopping before they get the results. Radio is a good example. On average, you need to be doing radio for 9 to 12 months before you start to see any form of an ROI in uptick in searches and call volume from it. 9 to 12 months. Most people do it for like a month and well, I got nothing. Well, yeah, because you spent a month instead of 9 to 12. So sometimes it's this time-based thing when it comes to marketing that you need to look at to say, okay, well, I actually need to spend time going through and doing all of these things prior to actually pulling the plug on it.
And then how do you get contractors to understand that?
Look, some don't. And it's just the reality for it. I don't hide behind something. I had a call with somebody last week, and he's like, well, how soon will I see results? And I looked at his entire business and where he was at specifically in his journey, and everybody is a little bit different. And I told him that you're probably not going to see anything from SEO or search engine optimization for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You might not get a single call. You probably will, right? But prepare yourself for something that is going to take time, because it's not something that's an instant flip of a switch, because we have to build up this authority. The best analogy that I've ever came across is NASCAR. Whether you love or you hate NASCAR, everybody understands it. You're driving left and you're driving in a lap, right? Well, the competition when it comes to SEO, for example, or any type of marketing, they're on lap 100. Your car could be on lap 5, 10, 25. I don't know. We'd have to look at the numbers. Okay? Let's just say it's on lap 25. Competition's on lap 100. Well, they're ahead of you. Well, you put your car you're going to get it back out there with a more sleeker aerodynamic body, a faster engine, a better transmission, tires that go faster, better sticky on the track so you can make corners faster, right? All these things that you're going to add into your vehicle. And then you're going to get back out there. Right? Well, you're still on lap 25 because you pit your car. Your competition now is on lap 102, 103 because they lapped you. Well, when you get rolling with this better, faster, quicker car, you're going to eventually lap them and you're going to keep lapping them. So now by the time they get to lap 140, you're on lap 130. Lap 150, you're the same. Lap 152, you passed them. And so it's this time thing, and you have to just take your time with it. And that's the biggest and best analogy that I've ever been able to come up with, specifically when it comes to taking time for marketing, but also explaining SEO and why it takes time.
Right. So we're the turtle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I love that. One of the things I need to talk about was referrals. Which, a lot of contractors do work off referrals, but when does that become risky?
I think when they want to scale past it. Look, you've probably seen it, and you've had lots of conversations with lots of contractors. Some contractors are happy being, what we call a chuck in a truck, right? One man, which is completely fine, by the way. I have no issues with somebody wanting to just be a small contractor by themselves. We got other people that are 10, 15, 20 vans, some people that want to be 100, 150, some 1,000. Cool, anywhere in between that. Well, if you're on the lower side of that number and you want to grow, if you're a 1 or 2 or 3 man operation and you've relied solely on referrals, to get to a 10 van operation, 15 van operation, 25 van, whatever the number is, whatever your goal is, by the way, not what social media wants your goal to be, what you want your goal to be. And referrals aren't going to get you there for everything. You have to diversify outside of that. Part of a caveat on that is if you're working on your contractor and you've got relationships with builders, for example, and let's say you're a commercial HVAC contractor doing new construction. Okay, well, a lot of that is referrals and word of mouth and relationships. It's tougher to market for that. Now, if you're a residential HVAC contractor and you want to grow to 10 vans, you are not going to be able to get there on referrals alone. And so it's this slippery slope of people thinking that they can solely rely on it for everything. Because you think about that, if you go back to that commercial example and you're working with a builder and that builder decides to farm that out to somebody else, well, there goes your business overnight. You haven't diversified outside of that. So are your referrals going to keep you going? Is your relationship going to keep you going? You got to look elsewhere.
Right. And what I've learned too is that people retire, whatever happens. So that's important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there it sounds like you've been doing this for quite a while. What are the biggest mistakes that you see from contractors when it comes to online marketing?
Some of the biggest mistakes, I think, are moving between agencies too quickly. Every 3 to 6 months, they have a new agency and they blame the agency. Well, I've got data that says that there's some contractors that they need to look in the mirror first and foremost to say, hey, my operations are the actual reason that the marketing isn't working. Okay? Or sometimes the marketing isn't working, okay? But understanding the data and the nuances behind that. Another one, depending on what the marketing company is doing. So for example, when we do SEO and we do pay-per-click, we're beholden to people that are searching for that service at the time, right? If there's no search volume, we can't make your phone ring if search volume is down. Everybody understands hot and cold seasons, and I'm going to use HVAC because that's just the easiest way for us to explain this. And so we know that depending on where you're at, if you're in the Sun Belt in the US, it is starting to get hot right now, right? Your air conditioning is starting to run right now, right? If you're up in the northern parts, well, not so much. Like it's a high 60 today. So for me, guess what? My air conditioner is probably not going to run. If it does, it's going to be 30 minutes at nighttime to cool the house down. I could have opened up a window, right? My furnace runs for 30 to 45 minutes in the morning to warm my house up, and that's it. And so it's a shoulder season. Do you think that I'm going to call more right now? No, because my stuff isn't running. It's not breaking down. But when it gets hot, guess what? Call volume increases because people's systems are running more and then they break down. And so it's understanding that and looking to say, okay, well, if search volume is down, my marketing companies are doing the right job. Well, no, they probably are, but is search volume down?
Got it. No, I get that. I live here in Las Vegas, so
Mm-hmm.
it gets really hot. And that
Mm-hmm.
HVAC company to us is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really important. And, one of the things you've talked about is Google and ads.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts of the Google business profile of it being underused and why is it important?
I think so many people sleep on their Google business profile. And you think about any contractor, what happens when a consumer needs the services? Well, they Google it. I mean, sure, they're going to AI now too, and they're asking ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or whatever other AI system that they're using for it. It's the same concept. And so when somebody finds a person, again, to go back to that 3% of the target market at any given time, knows they have a problem, they're information gathering a solution, they want to buy their solution now, 50 to 60% of traffic for those search terms lands on a Google business profile. 20, 30% on ads, the rest on like the stuff on the bottom. So you want to target to the most applicable amount of traffic. It's your Google business profile. And that's why most people need to sleep on it. Easy tip for people that are looking at their Google business profile and they're like, wait, what is it? Well, search your name and you should see your Google business profile come up, or the map pack is what it's often referred to. Two things that matter. Well, there's a few things that matter in it. One is your name is a keyword in the business name. The other one is proximity to the searcher. So making sure you have your address on your Google business profile. From there, it's reviews and getting Google reviews consistently on a consistent basis, daily if possible. Google reviews. And then another one, something that somebody can easily do today, is just start taking photos of jobs, posting them as photos to your Google business profile.
Got it. I just want to make sure I understood what you just said. So when it comes to someone's title, they should also add their service that they provide. Is that what I heard?
Yes. So the ABC Home Services versus ABC Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning. ABC Home Services versus ABC Custom Home Builders. You see what I mean on that? Like there's a big difference on that. So if you have now ABC Custom Home Builders and somebody's going to search Custom Home Builders, well, they know exactly what that company does versus ABC Home Services. Okay, well, Home Services is plumbing, electrical, handyman, roofing, gutters, siding, window cleaning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where Custom Builder, cool, they know exactly what they do. Plumbing, heating, air conditioning, cool, I know exactly what they do. Electrical, I know exactly what they do. ABC Handyman Services, I know exactly what they do. So putting that actual search term and name in the Google Business Profile, I'm going to put a caveat on this, that just don't go changing your Google Business Profile to add that name in there unless you file a DBA or doing business as prior to changing your name. If you change your name on your Google business profile, Google will suspend your profile pending re-verification. You've got to submit all the documents to be able to show that that is, in fact, your actual legal name. So don't just go putting in a bunch of keywords into your name and hoping it's going to actually stick. It will get suspended. So you need to have the legal paperwork on the back end in order to be able to support that.
Thank you for saying that, because that was the first time I ever heard that. I did learn that with the podcast. But no, I'm glad you said that, because I'm sure we were about to have a lot of people go in there and change it. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Yeah, don't change it. Don't change it unless you have all the legalities in place before you change it.
Awesome. And then, of course, talk to someone that can help you with that.
Yes.
So what are some of the red flags that you see that contractors should watch when hiring a marketing agency?
Asking them what their asset ownership policy is step number one. I can't believe I still have to have this conversation in 2026. Some marketing agencies, you don't own anything. You don't own your website. If you paid somebody 10, 15, 20, whatever the number is for your website and you don't own it, red flag. Okay. Because it's built on their proprietary system that you can't transfer out, blah, blah, blah. Like, just be careful of that. And so if they don't publish, and by the way, at On Purpose Media, we have a client ownership asset policy published on our website. People know exactly what they're going to get and what they're not going to get should they stop services with us. And so that's like number one. Number two is asking them how long they've been in business for and how big their team is. Not to say that the one-man bands aren't very good at what they do. There are some very successful ones out there, but asking them how long they've been doing digital marketing for. There's no barrier to entry to be a digital marketer. Do you have a computer and an internet connection? Cool, digital marketer. And so that's just the reality. Like, I've been doing digital marketing for over 6 years. Prior to that, print marketing for another 6 years. And so like 12 years of marketing experience with a team of 12 people on there. And so we've seen a lot and know a lot with what we do. And so don't do the fly-by-nighters, the easy ones. Generally, the other part too is it's an investment. Okay. So be wary of the people that only charge you a couple $100 or $500-$600 for digital marketing and SEO and promise the moon to you, because it's going to be tough to do at that cost and that price point. And also be wary of people promising guaranteed results, specifically when it comes to SEO. You can't guarantee SEO. Well, there's no way. Can I guarantee some medium of paid traffic and PPC or pay per click and Google ads and meta ads? Yeah. If somebody spends thousands of dollars a month on ad spend, I can put in a guarantee for it. We just choose not to.
Got it. No, we learned that the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, when we first got started, we paid a marketing service agency. And as soon as we stopped services, we did no longer own the website. So I can say that is true.
Mm-hmm. It is, and it happens. It happens more often than we think. And so, just being aware and cognizant of that, especially if you're putting in a big investment into marketing, you should be able to own everything. The same thing with giving ownership access to a Google Business Profile. Under no circumstances does a marketing agency ever need ownership access. I mean, maybe if they're building an API and some custom integrations for reviews, but even then, you can get away with most of that on a manager level access. You don't need ownership level. Person generally doesn't need ownership level access of your Google Ads account either, or your Meta Ads account, or any other ads account for that matter. Manager level access should be the only thing that you grant to anything of yours.
Got it. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
for someone who's currently listening and their phone isn't ringing, where should they start?
I don't think that they should start with digital marketing right off the hop. They should go, if their phone's ringing, they've got time. The question that I always ask is, do you have more time than money, or do you have more money than time? Well, if you've got more money than time, get grassroots, go guerrilla, go old school, go knock on doors, go put on go print off some door hangers, depending on your service and where you want to go. I mean, if you're going after commercial, then obviously door hangers don't really work, but you could go try to set up some lunch and learns at some property management buildings to be able to show them what you do and how you do it differently, right? Yeah, you're going to invest a little bit of time and money in that, but now you're getting in front of the property managers because you can get your information out there. If you're working with a bunch of builders, well, go network and meet some more builders. Go spend some time at a BNI or other chamber of commerce networking events for those sorts of things. If you need your phone to ring like right now, then the gold mine is likely in your lost leads database or your own existing customer database. You likely have a database of customers sitting there somewhere that haven't been touched in however long. Well, maybe you should go and start calling through those folks first and foremost, because that's the low hanging fruit. Very rarely is SEO website an instant turn on and the phone is miraculously going to ring. Can you do that with Google ads and paid traffic? Yeah, if you're willing to invest the money into it. Generally, we can have an ads account and landing pages done in 1 to 2 weeks, maybe 3, depending on the company. Well, now you're 1 to 3 weeks out from having ads working and rolling. And if you're brand new to the ads world, well, guess what? It takes 1 to 3 months for the ads account to warm up, to get the right data into it, to send it to the right people. Well, by that point in time, you needed the calls. So is digital still the instant way to win? In some circumstances, yes. But I think there's a lot of things that contractors can do themselves before they even go to invest that money into a digital marketing company.
And that low-hanging fruit that you mentioned is so underused, of making sure you're following up with old clients. So when it comes to branding and professionalism, how is that so important, when you're trying to attract better clients?
I think it's the most important part. When you think about it, branding is everything, and it's memorable when people remember it. And the most successful contracting businesses, for the most part, have generally memorable brands because, again, memorability, right? The other thing, and again, sure, you could say, well, I'm just going after commercial clients. What does my brand matter? Or I'm subbing out to home builders or whatever, or, I'm building apartment buildings and it doesn't really matter about my brand. Well, go back to that referral conversation that we had earlier and say, okay, well, what if that something miraculously went away? How are you going to stand out? How are people going to know who you are? I mean, you've got essentially a moving billboard invested into your vehicles, and it's underutilized. How often do you show up to a job site and your van has white lettering or no lettering, or your truck has no lettering on it, and people wonder what you do? Well, perhaps wrap your vehicle, put a nice brand on there, put some what it is that you do, because it's always going to be at job sites all the time. Whether you're residential or commercial, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be moving around. It's always going to be driving. Why not get that thing actually done so it sticks out and is memorable?
Got it. And what are other ways that contractors can go for branding or use branding?
Look, branding is, I think people also have this thing as well. Branding is my logo and my colors. Well, it's more than that. Branding happens with the first interaction that you have with somebody. If you're going to go to my point earlier, you're going to go into, property management companies, for example, and you're going to start having conversations with individuals. Well, that initial interaction is actually part of the brand. You think about if you're residential and you're showing up to a homeowner's house, how and where you park your vehicle, how you show up, and how your team members present themselves. Do they show up in a dirty uniform, or do you have 5 or 6 different clean pairs that they can switch out into in between jobs? So they always have clean uniforms on when they show up to the door. Do they smell good? Are they properly groomed too? Do they look homeless or not? I don't have an issue with, I have a beard, so I can't say I have issues with beard, but guess what? I actually trimmed my beard today because I'm like, I'm going on a podcast. I haven't had a video in a week and a half. So yeah, my beard was getting scraggly. So I wanted to make sure that it looked trim, neat, and professional for today. And so those are all part of the branding experience. When you think about it, totality, how people interact, how you answer the phone is a branding aspect of things. How many times you call people and say, hello? I'm like, well, no, like actually answer it the right way, guys. Like all those small details, the total interaction is how you make somebody feel. That's brand.
Right. And I totally agree with you.
Mhm.
When, when it comes to, what separating those contractors who are growing on a consistent basis from the ones who are staying stuck, what do you think it is?
Boy, a lot of things. I think deep down, it's understanding numbers and understanding your inherent numbers when it comes to your own particular business. Because when you think about numbers and how that works, 4 things, you need to make sure that the numbers are there. You understand everything and you do everything in an appropriate way. So understanding what your top line margins are, right? And understanding hitting your gross margins, hitting your net profit. Are you adequately pricing jobs to be able to make sure that you have net margin? And then also understanding what customer acquisition cost is, or CAC for short. And so people, when you look at customer acquisition cost in saying that, okay, well, what do those things look like? Am I actually able to make money on a customer acquisition cost when I am doing advertising? Then can I reinvest into that to be able to do what I need to do? But then also looking at how many phone calls am I getting into my business? And then am I booking those? What is my booking rate? If you are in a sales capacity, what is your sales closing rate? If you're in a repair to an install business, what is your repair ticket? What is your install ticket? What is your repair to turnover ratio to an install quote? And then what do you close on those? Understanding all of these numbers that matter in your business are the people that are going to be able to drive the ship the right way, because if they see a number that isn't right, they're going to adjust it and they're going to course correct to a new one.
Got it. Now that was perfect. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today?
No, I think we've covered a lot. I think we've had a lot of information that helped people out. And if anybody ever wants to reach out, I'm happy to have a conversation about anything. It's they have a question, well, let's have a conversation.
Awesome. And I know you did mention that you at On Purpose Media, you guys do offer a free marketing audit. Can you just share with us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So the marketing audit is essentially where we go through, and the website is onpurposemedia.com/audit. Pops up to a calendar. Feel free to book a time on the calendar, and we go over your information. We'll go over what we can see online from the front end side of things. If we wanted to go deeper onto the back end, on like if you are running Google Ads, and audit your Google Ads account. If you wanted to audit your Google Analytics, which tracks the traffic on the website, we can do that. We just need access to that and more time than just on the front end. But we can take a look at, is your website good or not good? Is your Google Business Profile results good or not good? Is your current marketing agency doing what they say they need to be doing, sort of a thing? And so grabbing a time on our calendar, we can go over anything that you want during those 45 minutes. That's how long the booking is 45 minutes. So we don't need to use all of it, but yeah.
And I'm sure that's a perfect amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people who are also looking to possibly connect with you online, how do they do that?
Yeah. So, our website, first and foremost, onpurposemedia.com. I'm pretty active on Facebook. That's generally where I do most of my online hanging out. So, facebook.com, I think it's /Thaddeus.Tandu or Thaddeus Tandu. I don't remember on Facebook land. And then I'm also on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, you can find me on Thaddeus Tandu as well. You can basically Google my name, Thaddeus Tandu, and I command at the first several pages of Google. So follow me on any platform that works for you.
Well, awesome, Thaddeus. This today was amazing. I get very exciting when we talk about marketing. It's one of my favorite subjects. So this was awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll talk soon, okay?
Awesome. You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.